Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Prabowo Likito. I'm in the fourth speaker. I would like to tell you about attitude and values. Attitude and values is include with factor contributing to language shift, which is the previous speakers has already discussed, has already explains about three factors contributing to shift. The first one is attitude and values. Attitude and values. A language shift tend to be slower among communities where the minority language is highly valued. It means that our first language, our mother language, is kind of very slower among communities because we never used to our first language to other society, to other community. Our mother language is used to where do we live now, where we stay, where we were born. So that's why it's kind of very slower among communities. And therefore, when language is seen as an important symbol of ethnic identity, it's generally maintained longer. So I will explain this in the next slide. So, for attitude and values, it has a positive aspect that we can take. First one, we can take support effort to use the minority language in a variety of domains, and this help people to resist the pressure from the majority to switch their language. So we can protect our mother language. We can avoid pressure from outside to change our mother language with a second language. Obviously, we learn second language, but we don't have to lose our first language easily because it is our ethnic, because it is our identity. We don't need to their opinion for granted. We just focus our first language because this is our variety of domains that we can have now. And next, certain social factor to retard wholesale language shift. The first one is where language is considered an important symbol of ethnic group identity. So it means that, for example, where if I were in the Suku Kubu, it means that I always used to speak Suku Kubu language, right? And so that's why I can't change my Sukukubo language with other language because I consider that Sukukubo language is very important for us, for our society, are there, and Sukukubo language is our identity group. Sukukubo language is our heritages for three or two next generations for our heritage. And then the second factor is to retard the wholesale language shift. If families, a minority group live near each other frequently, it means that where do we live now? Where do we stay now? Where do we communicate with other now? Because after a community with other who live us, who has the same language, who has the same first language, who has the same mother language, we can't spread our mother language. We can use our language frequently. We just focus on where do we live now. And the next, how to maintain a minority, how to maintain minority language. There are six minority language that we can maintain. The first one is symbols of minority group identity. Just like I said before, a symbol of minority group identity, just like in the Sukukubu, what I meant, where I was in the Sukukabu language, this our ethnic group, this is our identity that we have to keep, we have to protect with our identity for the next generations. And the second one is family live near each other. It means that where do we live now, where do we stay now, we can't keep in touch with them by using my first language. And next, degree and frequency of contact with the homeless. For example, just like this, if we go to the another country and we never used to speak with our first language, so that's why the degree and frequency of contact the friends homeland we can use, keep in touch with them, my friends homeland, to protect, to separate, to use our first language to be continuously. And the fourth, use the minority language in school. Yes, obviously, we can use our minority language. We can communicate with my friends, with our friends, by using first language that we have. And the next, institutional support. We can take institutional support from educations, from law, for administrations to keeping our first language, not to be lost for granted. And the last one is to encourage members of minority community to take active step to protect their language. So just like we encourage someone outside to take someone outside to focus our first language, and obviously we learns about a second language, but we don't need to take for losing our first language seriously or for granted. We just like encourage members that who active in this situation to take or to protect our first language. uh, I think that's all for me for my presentations. Thank you.